Last week I asked you guys if you would be interested in a video where I showed you how you can stock your pantry on a budget, and so today I am bringing you that video. I've curated a list along with prices of all of the essentials that I think you should have in your pantry, and I've also found the very best prices for you. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, stay tuned. You're going to get all that and more in today's video, along with a free budget spreadsheet download for your pantry. Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how you can build your pantry from the ground up. Over 50 ingredients for less than $75. It's a total bargain. If you're not yet subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you would do so. I post all kinds of food and home and working mom content, so I think that you would definitely enjoy it. And if you know anyone that could benefit from this video, maybe a newlywed or a college student, or someone that just wants to brush up on their pantry stocking skills, definitely share this video with them. So I'm honestly a little bit impressed that you can get all of these ingredients for around $75 to stock your pantry. I have already shopped the best price for you, so that will all be included on the spreadsheet that's downloadable in the description box. You can just click that link to get that emailed to you. So as I go through, I'll kind of tell you guys why I like to keep these things on hand and what I use them for, and then I'll also pop up the prices on the screen and tell you where the best price is. All right, so sugar and flour are obviously pantry staples for baking. I found the cheapest price for these was at Aldi. The white sugar was $1.96 for a 4-pound bag, and then I got this 5-pound bag of all-purpose flour for $1.15, which I thought was a great deal. If you have flour, yeast, water, and olive oil, you can make bread, you can make focaccia, you can make rolls. There's a lot of things that you can do with it, and flour is pretty inexpensive. The only drawback is obviously is that it takes time to make those things, but if you need like a side for dinner and you don't have any bread or rolls on hand, it's something pretty simple to whip up. I also use flour when I'm making a roux, like for cheese sauce or gravy, and then sugar. You can actually use a little sprinkle of sugar in your tomato sauce to make it taste a little bit sweeter. Brown sugar is another thing that I think is a pantry essential, and that is for baking. You can also use it in different dressings and sauces. You can find brown sugar for $1.29 at Aldi, and that's for a 2-pound bag. In a pinch, if you don't have brown sugar on hand, you can substitute white sugar, and then if you have a little bit of molasses on hand, you can add that also. Another fun dip to make for apples is like a caramel dip. You can mix together brown sugar with softened cream cheese. Walnuts are another ingredient that I like to keep on hand. I just think that of all of the nuts, they're probably the most versatile in terms of like you can use them in baking, you can use them in banana bread, cookies, and then you can also use them in savory dishes. You can grind them up and put them in veggie burgers. You can also toast them and put them on salads. This 4-ounce bag of chopped walnuts at Walmart is $2.36. Semi-sweet chocolate chips are definitely an essential when it comes to baking. You can make chocolate chip cookies. You can also put them in banana bread or pancakes. I found that Aldi was the cheapest place to get chocolate chips. This bag was $1.65. And then I also like to keep dried cranberries on hand. These are great for baking, but they're also good for salads, and I also like to put them in my chicken salad when I don't have any grapes on hand. They're great for that. Actually, the walnuts go really well in chicken salad as well. I found that Aldi was the cheapest place to get these. This 6-ounce bag of dried cranberries was $1.29 at Aldi. Okay, active dry yeast is another thing that I always like to keep on hand. You can make bread, rolls, focaccia. You can also make a really delicious pizza crust out of this. This 3-pack of active dry yeast is 89 cents at Aldi. That's the best price that I was able to find on it. If you bake a lot, maybe consider buying a larger container of yeast like at Walmart and then keeping that in the freezer. It will last you a long time. All right, so corn tortillas are also very versatile. You can obviously use them for tacos, but I really like using corn tortillas for enchiladas. You can also fry them up and make tostadas out of them. You can use them in chicken tortilla soup. I also have a recipe in my cookbook for chilaquiles that is really, really delicious. But this 30 count of corn tortillas is super inexpensive at Aldi. It sells for $1.39. And if you're not going to use these up all at once, you can also freeze them. But I always like to have corn tortillas on hand. And then I also think that flour tortillas are super versatile. I like to get these at Walmart. This Chi-Chi's brand is actually the cheapest. This 12 pack of flour tortillas is $1.48 at Walmart. You can obviously use these for tacos, but they have a lot of other uses as well. You can make wraps out of them. You can cut them into wedges, spray them with olive oil, bake them in the oven, and kind of make your own chips. You can also freeze flour tortillas if you're not going to use them up as well. Okay, so baking powder and baking soda, these are obviously baking essentials. So for the baking powder, the cheapest price on that is at Aldi. It's 99 cents. And then I also found the cheapest price at Aldi for baking soda. This was 50 cents. So breadcrumbs, I found the cheapest price on these at Aldi. These were 89 cents and they had a few different varieties. If I was just going to keep one variety on hand, I would choose panko just because I think that it's versatile in terms of you can coat things to fry and it's super crispy, but you can also use them in like meatballs and meatloaf. And then also I think that oats are another thing, like rolled oats are another essential pantry ingredient. I found the cheapest price on these at Walmart just because they had a smaller canister available. But obviously you can make oatmeal with this. You can use them in cookies and breads. You can make chocolate chip oatmeal bars. You can also use them in protein balls. And these are $1.76 for this 18-ounce canister of old-fashioned oats. I prefer the old-fashioned oats rather than the quick oats, but it's definitely a personal preference. I just find that these have a little bit more chew to them. Okay, so cornmeal is another thing that I like to keep on hand. You can obviously make cornbread and corn muffins with this, but you can also use it to make like this delicious corn casserole that I always make for Thanksgiving. Another use for cornmeal is that you can use it to dust your pizza pan with. If you're gonna make some homemade pizza crust using your yeast and everything, if you dust the pan with a little bit of cornmeal, it does give the crust kind of like that restaurant or that pizzeria texture. I would definitely recommend it. This 24-ounce canister of cornmeal is $1.86 at Walmart. This lasts me a long time. So definitely something that will keep in your pantry for quite a while. Okay, so cornstarch is another thing that I definitely think is a pantry essential. Most of the time I use this for thickening sauces. You can mix this with a little bit of cold water and then use it to thicken a sauce or a gravy. You can also use this in stir fries if you coat your protein in it, like your beef or your chicken or your shrimp, and go ahead and fry that or stir fry that along with your veggies. It will give your protein kind of like a little bit of a crispy coating. I thought that Aldi had cornstarch, but I didn't see it when I was there. So if your Aldi has cornstarch, you might be able to get it a little bit cheaper there. But this is $1.08 at Walmart. Okay, so imitation vanilla, obviously, you know, you need to have vanilla extract on hand for baking. However, it can get super, super expensive. I was able to find this imitation vanilla for 74 cents at Walmart. I think sometimes you can also find it at Dollar Tree. Obviously, if you are really into baking and you can spring for like a really good quality real vanilla extract, then that might be something that, you know, you want to spend some money on. However, if your budget is tight, definitely go with the imitation vanilla. I've cooked with this for years and never knew the difference. Okay, so salt. So I always prefer to use kosher salt in my cooking. I just think that it's easier to season things. I find that it's easier for me to keep it in like a shallow dish and I can kind of sprinkle it on my food as I'm cooking with my fingers. You can get this smaller container of kosher salt at Walmart for $1.77. This is obviously a little bit pricier than the regular like iodized salt, but in my opinion, I recommend this for cooking. I think that it's worth spending the money on, and if you have a little bit more in your budget, you can also get a larger box of this and it'll end up being cheaper per ounce. Okay, so pepper is another thing that I prefer to just have fresh ground pepper. The great thing is that you can really find these pepper mills at the store now for not much money. I found this black peppercorn grinder at Aldi for $1.85. I think that is a great price, and you don't have to buy the pepper mill and the peppercorns separate, so would definitely recommend that. Okay, so spices is kind of something that I had to piecemeal together and try to find the cheapest deal on these. So this size of spices is 98 cents at Walmart, so that's what I ended up getting. Most of the spices at Aldi are $1.05, so they are a little bit pricier. But in terms of building up your spice cabinet, I think this is a great mixture to start with. I have some Italian seasoning here, some ground cumin, some chili powder, some cinnamon, mostly for baking, and then some paprika. You can really blend a lot of these spices together to also make your own spice blends. I think that Italian seasoning is one of the most versatile seasonings, and you don't just need to use it in, you know, Italian cooking. But all of these spices retailed for 98 cents each at Walmart. I will say that the dill, I think this is essential in my pantry. I use it for quite a few different things. I like to use it in my chicken salad, different dressings. When I make salmon, sometimes I use it. This is a little bit pricier. It's $3.97. If you can find this somewhere for cheaper, that's great. Or if you want to leave it out while you're first building up your pantry, I think that's fine. Although this is like an essential ingredient if you make your own ranch dressing as well. And then the other two spices I would say to get are cayenne pepper and curry powder. These small containers retail for 86 cents at Walmart. Cayenne pepper is something that you don't use a whole lot of, so I think it's fine to have a small container like this. And then curry powder, you can actually use this like when you're sauteing your veggies and your protein. Put your chili powder and olive oil, or I'm sorry, your curry powder and olive oil in there, saute it a little bit, and then add your coconut milk, and you can make a really great curry out of that. Okay, so vinegar is one of those things where you can choose a bunch of different types of vinegar. There's rice vinegar, apple cider vinegar, balsamic vinegar. I still tend to think that regular old white vinegar is probably the most versatile in terms of cooking. I also use it to wash my produce. The best price for this is at Aldi. It's 79 cents for this 32-ounce container. And then olive oil, I tried to find the cheapest price on this, and I thought it would actually be cheaper at Aldi, but it ended up being cheaper at Walmart. So this is the light tasting olive oil, and this retails for $2.58. The reason I chose this one is because you can use this in baking along with sauteing things. If you're just gonna have one oil on hand, I think it would be this one. Obviously, vegetable oil is what's called for the most in baking, but you can also use this to saute food and make dressings and vinaigrettes as well. Okay, so tahini is one of those things that's also a little bit pricier. I like to keep it in my pantry because I make dressings out of it, and then also it is an essential ingredient when you make your own homemade hummus. I found the best price on this at Walmart. This container was $3.98. I do like that you can squeeze the bottle also. Tahini is one of those things that I think can be hard to find. If you have a Trader Joe's around you, they have a great price on tahini. If I were going to get it, I would probably get it there, but we don't have one here around us, and so Walmart is the next best thing. Okay, so this is the Knorr chicken flavor bouillon, and it comes in a powder. I cannot recommend enough to have this on hand. I think that it's super easy to be able to reconstitute this with some warm water and make your own chicken broth. I use this personally all the time in recipes. I like that it doesn't take up a lot of room in your cupboard, and so you don't have to have like a ton of cans or boxes of chicken broth. This also comes in a beef flavor. I would say that the chicken is probably more versatile in terms of recipes, but this is a great price. It's $1.68, and this will last you quite a long time. So I found the cheapest price on honey at Aldi. This was $2.75. I personally think that honey is an essential ingredient. You can use it in baking, and I also use it a lot in dressings and sauces. Pepperoni is another item that will keep in the pantry. You do need to refrigerate it after you open it, but you can use this in salads. You can also use it in pasta bakes. Like, let's say you're trying to make like a budget-friendly like a pasta bake with marinara sauce. You can substitute pepperoni for ground beef and it will make it a lot more budget friendly. This retails for $2.24 at Walmart. You can obviously get turkey pepperoni as well if you prefer that. So rice is definitely an essential pantry ingredient, and if I could choose to either keep white or brown rice on hand, I would always keep brown rice just because I like it a little bit better. This 1 pound bag of brown rice retails for 78 cents at Walmart. You can get the white rice for just a little bit cheaper, but it's really only like 8 cents cheaper. My favorite way to make this is to bake it in the oven, but that's definitely essential. In terms of pasta, I don't know if you guys have seen this brand at your Walmart, but it's this La Moderna pasta, and these come in these 7-ounce bags, which is about half of a regular, 1 pound box of pasta, but they have a bunch of different shapes. This is one of the best buys in terms of pasta at the store. You can get these little bags of pasta for 28 cents. So I got these macaroni elbows. I use these obviously for macaroni and cheese and goulash. And then I also got these little tube shapes. They're kind of like penne a little bit. It's labeled macaroni, but I would say you could use these in place of penne. Again, 28 cents for this 7-ounce bag. And then they also have spaghetti, and this is the cheapest price on spaghetti at Walmart. It's even cheaper than Aldi. And this 1 pound bag of spaghetti retails for just 72 cents. Okay, so Dijon mustard is another thing that I always like to keep on hand. If I were doing a more comprehensive list, I would say also keep yellow mustard and ketchup on hand. But in terms of cooking, I would say that I use Dijon mustard more frequently. The best price I found on this was at Aldi. This was 89 cents. You can use this and make like a honey mustard sauce out of it. You can also use it in chicken salad, tuna salad, just on sandwiches, a ton of different things. Peanut butter is also another pantry staple that I like to keep on hand for baking, and I also make this really delicious peanut sauce out of it with like soy sauce and lime juice. The cheapest price on this is at Aldi, and it's $1.19 for this 18-ounce container of peanut butter. Hot sauce is another thing that is great to keep on hand, and I think that the most versatile in terms of like cooking and seasoning your food is Sriracha. You can get this bottle of Sriracha at Walmart for $1.76, which I think is a great deal, and it will last a long time in your fridge. I also like to keep capers on hand, mostly for cooking. Chicken piccata, you can also make like a salmon or a cod piccata out of this, which is basically like a lemon butter sauce with capers. You can also make dressing with this. My Aldi does not have capers, so I had to get these at Walmart, and they are $1.42. Sesame oil is another item that's maybe a little bit pricier. However, in terms of like Asian style cooking, I would say that it's definitely a necessity. My Aldi used to have sesame oil, but I wasn't able to find it there this week, so I did have to get this at Walmart. This retails for $2.98, but it does last a while because you don't need much, and I normally like to keep this in my refrigerator. Okay, so mayo is another thing that I always keep on hand, and I'm one of those people that really only likes to buy the brand name of mayonnaise. I've never really tried like the Aldi brand or the Walmart brand, but let me know if you guys have tried it and if you like it. This smaller container of mayo is $2.78 at Walmart. You can use this in tuna salad, chicken salad. You can use this to make ranch dressing. You can also use mayo to bind up like your tuna cakes or fish cakes. That's really good too. So mayo, definitely keep that on hand. And then the best price that I found on soy sauce was at Aldi. I do usually get the reduced sodium soy sauce just because I find soy sauce to be obviously super salty anyway, and so I feel like if you get the reduced sodium, then you can control the sodium level a little bit or the salt level a little bit. But this soy sauce is $1.29 at Aldi, which I think is a great deal. I use this obviously in like stir fries. We dip our pot stickers in it. I also use it a lot in dressings and marinades. Okay, so potatoes and onions are definitely pantry staples. I think you can just do so many things with potatoes. You can use them in soup. You can make baked potatoes, mashed potatoes, hash browns, etc. I was able to find this 5-pound bag of potatoes at Walmart for 99 cents, which I think is an awesome deal. Aldi does tend to be a little bit pricier for the potatoes, but obviously it depends on what sales are in your area at that point in time. And then for the onions, I was able to find the best price on these at Aldi. I got this 2-pound bag for $1.99. And then garlic was also the cheapest at Aldi. So I was able to get these 3 bulbs of garlic for $1.19. So garlic is one of those things that I feel like is best fresh. I did not include garlic powder on the list of spices. Obviously, garlic powder is one of those things that I feel like everyone should have on hand. However, if you're just going to choose one thing and you're really truly trying to do this on a budget, I would recommend fresh garlic more, just because I think that it's more versatile. Obviously, onions and garlic sauteed together are the base of many, many dishes. Okay, so in terms of canned goods, I feel like mostly the price on these is better at Aldi. Tuna is something that I always like to keep in the pantry. You can make tuna noodle casserole out of it. You can also make tuna salad or tuna cakes. You can get these chunk light cans of tuna in water at Aldi for 65 cents each. They also have tuna in oil. I don't prefer the tuna in the oil. I always get it in the water. So I grabbed 2 of those for $1.30. Crushed tomatoes are another thing that's super versatile. You can actually make your own marinara sauce out of these and use them in soups as well. I found the best price on these at Aldi. They have 28-ounce cans of crushed tomatoes for 85 cents. And then I also think that diced tomatoes are a great thing to keep on hand for recipes and soups and chili and things like that. So I did find the best price on diced tomatoes at Aldi. This 14.5-ounce can is 59 cents, which I think is a great price. If you're looking for the petite diced tomatoes, you can get them for a few more cents at Walmart. In terms of beans, I think that the best price for these is normally at Aldi. However, my Aldi did not have pinto beans, so I went ahead and got those at Walmart. You can also get dried beans. I just think that for convenience, obviously, canned beans are a lot more versatile and quick in terms of like if you're making, you know, homemade refried beans or a chili or hummus or something like that. So the pinto beans are 55 cents at Walmart per can, and then at Aldi I was able to get the garbanzo beans for 55 cents and the black beans for 55 cents as well. Black beans are also really good in like cold salads, like if you mix together like beans and corn and sort of like tomatoes, cilantro, that kind of thing. It's a really good cold salad. In terms of canned vegetables, I think that probably green beans and corn are the 2 most versatile. These have a better price at Aldi than they do at Walmart, but I do have 1 can just to show you guys from Walmart as well. The best price on canned veggies is at Aldi. They're 49 cents a can, so you can get 2 cans of these for just under $1. Cream soups are definitely something that I keep on hand. I know some people don't like them. They say they're processed junk, whatever. I think that they're essential in terms of some casseroles. Tater tot casserole, I use a cream of chicken soup, but you could also use cream of mushroom soup. Cheesy potatoes, this chicken broccoli rice casserole that I make uses cream of chicken. The cream soups at Walmart, the Great Value brand, are 50 cents. You can also get the Aldi brand for 50 cents as well, so I think these are a wash in terms of where you get them. If you want to spring for the Campbell's brand, these are usually around 98 cents a piece at Walmart. Tomato paste is another ingredient that I think is essential to keep in your pantry. You can get this 6-ounce can of tomato paste at Aldi for 42 cents, which is the better price. If you don't use all of this, you can keep it in the refrigerator, and then if you're not going to use it in a couple weeks, I would say put it in the freezer. Just a couple tablespoons of this really adds like a really nice tomato flavor to dishes. I use this in my shepherd's pie. You can also use it to thicken up your marinara sauce. And then coconut milk, this is actually the same price at Aldi and Walmart. It's $1.64. I would say that if your budget is super tight and you're not planning on making any like curry dishes, you can skip this, but I do think it's essential in that type of cooking, and I always get just the regular coconut milk, not the light, because it does have a better flavor. All right, so just around $75 is a fantastic deal for all of these things to stock your pantry. Since I already have many of these things on hand, I'm going to be donating all of this to the local food pantry. Don't forget to download your free budget pantry spreadsheet at the link below in the description box, and make sure you share this video with someone who you think would enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope that you enjoyed it and got some tips. I will see you in my next video. Bye.
Let's just do what you want.